All right, you guys, so now we have two speakers here tonight. Sharnella Clark has been flipping homes since 2003. I love when I hear female stories, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
Thank you.
She also became a private money lender in 2014, reached $1 million net worth by 2018.
19. Oh, I'm sorry.
18.
First time.
After a financial setback in 19, she reclaimed her success by 2024. Not bad. What were we just talking about in bold? If any of us were there, resilience. You got to be resilient. You can't give up on your dreams. So, with no further ado, Sharnella Clark.
Thank you. Okay, hello, and I want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. And I wanted to share my story because I want people to understand that you don't have to be a special person in order to acquire wealth. I wasn't born into money. My parents struggled a lot. My parents divorced when I was very young, and I saw both of them struggle and talk about how poor they were. And I remember thinking as a kid, man, is this what I have to look forward to? And so I started thinking to myself, no, I want a different life for myself. I want a different life for my children. My journey hasn't ended though, because I'm still making strides towards even greater success. So I'm here to mainly talk to you guys about private money lending, but I also want to talk to you about some things that I feel that are very important because no matter how much money you have, if you can't hold on to it and grow it, you'll never attain, the wealth. You'll never attain it and maintain it if you don't spend it properly, if you don't save properly and invest properly. So yeah, I'm a realtor, real estate investor. I'm a money lender. I am an author of a book called Help a Fool Spend His Money. This book teaches people how to get out of debt if you're in debt, helps you learn how to stay out of debt if you're not in debt, and teach you the importance of saving and, again, investing. So I am also a motivational speaker, so I do a lot of different things. But on the agenda today, the first thing I want to talk about is debt elimination, because before you can get to the step of investing, you have to first be in a position to be able to invest. And with flipping, like with Quay and Demetrius, if you're flipping, you don't necessarily have to have your own money. You can use other people's money, but if you want to be a private money lender, you do have to have your own money. If you want to invest, you do have to have your own money. And you want to have your own money because one day you might not want to work again. So you want to have a huge nest egg, you want to have a huge savings. There may come a time when you're not able to work. I've been injured a few times in my life, and if you're not able to work, how are you going to bring in that income? Where is that additional income coming in? Do you have residual money coming in? Do you have like I said, a nest egg saved for a rainy day? So yeah, we're going to talk about debt elimination, saving in preparation for investing, and then we'll move right into private money lending. So what I want you guys to understand is you have to make your money work for you. Money is in high demand, right? Everybody needs money, whether we get money from a bank or whether we get money from a private money lender. Money is in demand. For me, and for all of you who will become private money lenders, cash earns you more cash. When I deploy my cash out there like soldiers to go out and work for someone else, when that money comes back to me, more soldiers come back to me, so I can deploy more soldiers in the future to work for me. So when I loan money to Quay and Demetrius, and I have several other, I think I'm in like 13 or 14 loans right now, I can't even remember. And so I have to put on a calendar on my phone, oh my God, this investor owes me today, they didn't pay me yet. Or I gotta remind this investor, it's all over my calendar on my phone because I have so many loans out there, it's hard to remember who owes me what. But I constantly, every week, have money coming into my bank account because these investors owe me money. And so my money is working for me while I'm sleeping, while I'm doing other things to earn more money so that I can then what? Cycle it back into private money lending to grow. And that's pretty much, I did a lot of things to develop the wealth that I attained, but I tell you, money lending over the past 10 years has been very consistent when everything else has kind of fallen by the wayside. In 2000, I think early on when my ex-husband and I were investing, we lost $30,000 on a property in Detroit. I think that was in 2006, and I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm not investing here anymore. Then I ran into Quay and Demetrius, and they changed my whole attitude about it. They educated me, and I ended up loaning 6 figures on a Detroit property. So I was like, man, I went from not doing that at all to like 6 figures. How did they talk me into that? But they're great guys. They pay great interest on time every month. I love it. Yep. So what you want is you want your cash to work for you while you focus on other things. Money lending gives you a consistent income stream of cash from the interest earned, and it increases your net worth. The thing is, when you earn the money, you put it back in. You don't go spend it, on the fancy things, not till you get to where you want to be. I didn't really splurge until I had met my financial goal. And so I always set financial goals for myself. You start off with baby steps first. You know what, I'm gonna save $200 this month. You meet that goal. Okay, this month, next month, I'm gonna save $400. I'm gonna save, it got to the point where I'm saving thousands every month, So you build up to that point, right? Okay, so it's extra cash that you can use to pay your bills in the event that, like I said, you're not working, or you decide you just don't want to work. You want to take a hiatus. You've got the money to do that. And then also when you get to the point where you want to pay for your luxury items with the extra cash that you earn, you can do so. But try not to work to pay for luxury items. Create another source of income to pay for that lifestyle that you want. Okay, so I want to get you in a position to grow your net worth through, again, money lending. I want you to steer clear of poor spending choices, because whether we realize it or not, you may say, oh, it's just $10 here, oh, it's just $15 there. When you add up all that money over the decades, you realize not only did you throw away thousands of dollars, but those thousands of dollars you could have deployed into money lending or some other investment that could have earned you 10 to 15%. So now you've probably thrown away tens of thousands of dollars through your poor spending habits. And this is what my book talks about. I'm so passionate about it because over the years, I would counsel people, for free. I couldn't believe that people didn't have at least 3 months of savings in the bank. And I'm not saying that because I want you to feel bad. I'm saying that because if you're in that position, today I want you to make a change, and I want you to decide that, I'm no longer going to be in this vulnerable position. I'm going to put myself in a situation where I start saving right away. I don't care if it's $50 a week, just get started. I want you to develop a stronger love for saving than you have for spending. I take more joy out of saying, oh, you know what? I saved so much this week. Yes, I will go buy nice things, but I will only do that after I've reached my goal for that month or my goal for that year. And I feel even better when I surpass those goals. That's what makes my heart beat. I just like to see my bank account swell. So, beat your savings goal every month and deploy your cash to earn more cash. Okay, so let's talk about briefly bad debt. We pretty much all know what bad debt is. That's debt that you pay monthly interest on. This debt does not earn you any money. The interest that you pay on this debt, such as credit cards, is very high. It is not tax deductible, and if you're making the minimum payment on your credit card every month and you're still putting more purchases on there than you're paying off, you're just creating a further downward spiral for yourself. Okay? Now, one thing I want you guys to understand is there is a such thing as good debt, and I have what's called a HELOC on my home. In my divorce, I don't know if I should tell the story or not. He's probably not going to watch it, but anyway, my ex-husband, back in 2019, I wanted to sell the house for $500,000. He said, nope, it's not going to sell for $500,000. He just wanted to be, just to oppose me. So I said, fine, what do you think it's going to sell for? So he did his own calculations, and he says it's going to sell for $459,000. I thought about it. I I said, okay, fine. I'll put it on the market for $459. I never put it on the market. The married Charnella decided to, as the divorced Charnella, buy it from Mr. Clark for $459. And today it's worth $670,000. So I have a lot of equity in my house, and after my divorce, I thought, man, I got this big house. How is this house gonna pay for itself? You know, at first I was thinking, let's sell, but then my daughter and I started looking at homes, and we couldn't find anything in the area for a price that we thought was right. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna start an Airbnb. So that's what I did. I had 2 empty homes in my house. I was doing Airbnb. I was making really good money until my association said, Charnella, you can't do that. I was like, oh, I didn't read the bylaws. I just called the city of Shelby Township. They said I could do it. So eventually I had to stop the Airbnb, but not before I made lots and lots of money, which I put into money lending, which then made more money for me. And the only thing that I bought myself was I sometimes open bank accounts just to get that free money. Like I've got one sitting on my table now. If you put $15,000 into a savings account for like 3 months, they'll give you $900. You got to do a few other things too, like direct deposit. I said sure. So I did something similar to that, and it bought my grill for free and my back patio furniture, because I actually got $1,200 a couple of years ago. I'm just a cheapskate, so I figured, well, let somebody else pay for it. So, because again, I lost $500,000 in a divorce, so I'm thinking, you know what, I gotta, I'm like behind now, and I felt at that time that I couldn't really write the book, because I thought, man, how can I help people now? How can I tell them that I'm a millionaire, because I'm not anymore? I just lost half of it. So I had to work really hard to gain it all back. But long story short, I decided to take out a HELOC, and I decided to use my HELOC funds to earn money. So my HELOC, because I have really great credit score, my HELOC earns money through the money lending. So the debt that I pay on my HELOC is less than the interest that I charge for the money lending. So the difference comes back to me, and my house pays its own mortgage. So I had $400,000 equity in the house. I deploy those dollars out. They come back to me. I pay my mortgage. It pays my mortgage for free. So I'm living in a $670,000 house for free. So that's what I want you guys to learn how to do, is to invest wisely and make sure that you make the correct moves in life. Because if you make the right steps in life, you can get a lot further. And in my book, I stress it so much because I've made mistakes, other people have made mistakes. If you can learn from other people's mistakes, why would you want to fall into the same puddle of mud that they fell into? Why don't you just leap right over it and keep going, and then you can go a lot further than you would have gone otherwise. Maybe a lot further than me too. So to build a strong financial foundation, you do need to earn. You need to earn a lot of money. You can't do this on minimum wage, right? It's hard. You can't become a millionaire on minimum wage. You have to earn more. You have to save more and invest more. So you must have access to money to make money. It doesn't necessarily mean always that it has to be your money, like with Quay and Demetrius, because they have multiple deals going at one time. And in order to scale their business, they need to borrow money. So you need to have access to money, but as a private money lender, you have to either have your own cash to loan out, or you need to have funds from a self-directed IRA. That's another thing I did. I knew nothing about the stock market. My ex-husband did all of the, after-tax dollars with the stock market. I did the primary saving with the cash. And together we did very well financially, but that was pretty much the only area that we did well. So with the stocks, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was losing money in the stock market. So I took it all out of the stock market, I put it in the self-directed IRA, and I deployed those dollars into private money lending, which is what I love. And I even fund some deals out of state. So my IRA is just, it's like clockwork. It's making thousands every month, and I'm not doing anything. So I get into the longer deals, like 1 year, 2 years with my IRA funds, and I don't require monthly payments with those funds because I'm not using them anyway. So it all depends on the deal. If they want the money for a year, they just pay on the back end a year from now when they're done with the project. Or if it's going to be a 2-year project, okay, just pay me interest once every 6 months, whatever it is. But it's not like the stock market. I'm not worrying and biting my nails that if something happens in the economy that is beyond my control, I'm gonna just all of a sudden those numbers on the paper are just gonna dwindle from what? I don't understand it. So I took all of my money out of the stock market. So I use cash, I use my IRA funds and my HELOC funds to go out and make money for me. So what I want you to do is create a strict savings plan. The same day that you get paid, and I know you realtors, some of you guys get some really fat checks. And the first thing we think about is, well, I deserve to buy this and I deserve to buy that. You do deserve it, but you also deserve to prepare for your financial future when you're no longer able to work. And I think, especially as young people, we don't really think about, when I get 65 or 70 years old, if I don't want to work, if I can't work. You haven't thought about that in your earlier years. But wherever you are today, start thinking about it. Start thinking about the fact that you may not have, a pension, or what do they call that? Social Security. It might not be around in the next few years. So you're going to have to find a way to take care of yourself without burdening your family or friends or children to help you take care of yourself. So moving forward, stop overspending on frivolous things that do not add to your net worth. So, in other words, anything that you purchase that doesn't increase in value, those are the things that you really want to think carefully about. Do I really need an $80,000 car, or will a $50,000 car do? You know what I'm saying? It's just things like that. And for me, I stopped buying brand new cars probably about a decade ago, because I realized the moment you drive them off the lot, it's a deficit. So I buy my vehicles 2 to 3 years used, no more than 3 years. And I do buy luxury vehicles because I like luxury vehicles, but I always shop around for the best price, and because I pay cash, I can really negotiate because they want the cash. And I can say, hey, I can pay today, so give me your, the best deal. So concentrate on tapping into various ways to earn more money for the express purpose of saving more money. So again, like I said before, what you're doing is you want to create an upward spiral. You want to earn more so that you can save more, so you can invest more. When you invest more, you earn more. So it's just a cycle, upward cycle there. So let's talk about money lending. Who can be a money lender? Anyone, you and me. The government doesn't tell you what you can do with your money. We're not a bank. So there's no regulations or rules other than do not loan to a homeowner. If it's their personal residence, do not loan to a homeowner. This is only for investment purposes. No one's going to tell you what interest rate to choose for these people. I've had investors who wanted to develop a relationship with me, and I'm very picky about who I do business with. I want you to have a good reputation. I want you to know what you're doing. So recently I had someone say, I'll give you 25%. I was like, what? You need my money for how long? I'll give you a straight 25% for 6 weeks. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's do business together. So that's just it. Sometimes you get those really great deals. But mostly I charge about 15%. 12 to 15% is usually what I charge on deals. But like I said, sometimes you get those really great deals and you can charge, 25. And I even had one lady offer 35%. I'm still investigating her deal because it sounds too good to be true. So I'm like, we've done business together before. She does pay really good interest, but 35%, that sounds a little too good to be true. But I'm gonna look into it. It's a commercial deal, and I mostly do residential. So I'm kind of like taking baby steps because commercial really isn't my area of specialty. So I need to really make sure that she can provide other properties that I can put a lien on to secure that money, because she's asking for a pretty large sum of money. So what is a money lender? It's a person who lends their personal funds to investors to purchase real estate for the purpose of renovating distressed properties. They can either resell them for a profit or hold as rental cash. For rental for cash flow. When can you become a lender? I would say you need a minimum of $10,000. I've put friends into deals where, say the investor needs $30,000. They only have 10, I'll put in 20, and then we'll go in on that deal together. So I would say 10,000 is where you should start. There's no maximum. Where can a money lender lend? You can lend pretty much anywhere where you feel safe. Like I said, I've loaned out of state before. I've actually traveled to that state to meet personally with the investor, to look at the property. I have a YouTube channel, and if you follow my channel, you'll see that I meet with the investors usually prior to the start of the rehab. Then I'll go back, sometimes in the middle, but then for sure at the end of the rehab. And you'll see where I'm talking about the lending, how I've given money to do the rehab. I sometimes give money to purchase the property, and sometimes I give money to do the renovations. And most recently, Quay and Demetrius property on Gladstone, it has been released this week, part 1 and part 2. It was a pretty long video. Okay, so why do investors prefer to borrow money from a person rather than a bank? I think most of us know, if you've ever applied for a loan at a bank, they want tons of paperwork. They want your credit score, they want to know where you worked, how much you earned, and this whole process can take 6 weeks, and sometimes for investors a lot longer. So rather than wait for a bank to give them money, they'd rather just come to me, because I can fund. If it's cash, I can fund within 3 days. Actually, you called me up, I think it was Sunday, and I was like, okay, I'll prepare the paperwork. You guys got the paperwork. As soon as I got the paperwork in, Mike was wiring the money the next day. So we're fast. When I'm working with my IRA funds, depending on the IRA company, it can take about 3 to 5 business days usually. We had some problems with that one IRA company because they bought out the previous IRA company, and so we had a little hang up, but I still came through for you. I gave you the money, and then when Mike's money came through, then you paid me back. So
figured it out.
Yeah, we got it done. How can you learn more about private money lending? If you want to learn more about private money lending, I have a yellow pad over there. You can write down your name, your email, and your telephone number, and we can have a discussion about it. A lot of you, I think all of you are realtors, is that correct?
Most of us.
Oh, okay. So for all of you who are realtors, the most important thing is you know how to do a market analysis. That's why I hold my real estate license. I don't sell real estate traditionally because I have so many other things going on. I don't have time, but if there's a family member or a friend that wants me to sell their house or help them buy a house, then I'll do that. But mainly I keep my license because when I'm doing these deals, I need to check the ARV. It's not that I don't trust that, the person is giving me the right ARV or after repair value. It's just that I need to see those numbers for myself, and I need to feel comfortable with it. So as a realtor, you already know that part of it. You know how to do a market analysis. So the next thing you want to look at is, what are they purchasing the property for? What are the rehab costs? When you put all those numbers together. Also, what is their selling cost? What is their buying cost if they're borrowing money? There's a lot of different fees that's involved in this. And so I want you to really understand that before you lend, because you want to make sure that your position is secure. I've never, in almost 11 years, I've never had to repossess a property. I've never had to foreclose, fortunately, and I hope that I never have to, but if I ever had to, I would. But investors, from time to time, do fall and get into trouble, and I typically work with those investors. They just keep paying me interest. As long as they're paying me interest and they're making payments toward the remaining balance of the principal balance, I will work with them. I'm not one of these, I'm just gonna get you didn't, pay me on time or whatever. No, I'm not like that. I like to work with people because being an investor myself, I understand that there are certain things that happen beyond an investor's control in some cases. I've been on the end where, I've lost money. I've been in a situation where the project didn't get renovated on time, and so now I'm holding it longer. But I never knew about private money lending. When I was doing my flipping years ago, my ex and I used our own money. And we opened up 0% interest credit cards, and we had that 0% interest for a year. And so we did it that way with all of our own funds and 0% interest credit cards. So, but you know, it's a different way today. You can do it, you can flip properties or do buy and holds by borrowing money from a private money lender, or you can be a private money lender yourself. So I almost done here.
So you stated for the where on that last page, that it must be an investment property and not a private residence.
Yes.
Is that because in case you have to foreclose for non-payment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dodd-Frank. There's a lot of rules because now you're acting like a mortgage company. We don't want to act like mortgage companies because with a homeowner you can only charge up to 10%. So if you charge more than that, then you can get in trouble if you try to foreclose.
Thank you.
So again, you want to grow your wealth. Money lending is one of the best ways to do that. I spend about 3 or 4 hours vetting a deal, and then it just, depending on the deal and how much I put into it, I can make anywhere from hundreds, but usually thousands of dollars. So it's really worth the investment. So the final tips and takeaways I want you guys to take from me is that you need to save as if you will never have another opportunity to save again. The years that I made the most money are the years that I saved the most. And I saved because I felt like, man, this is too good to be true. Maybe I'll never get a chance to save like this again. And so I just was on a roll. I just save. But then there does come a time when you reach your goals and then you can sit back and relax and say, you know what, I deserve a nice vacation, or I deserve this, or I want that. But first, make those goals, reach those goals, and then reward yourself for them. And I want you to constantly monitor your spending habits. Before you buy things that you absolutely don't need, think about it. Can my bank account really afford this? Can I really afford this? Or is this something that maybe I can, put off for later when I have another source of income that will pay for this particular item for me? And then lastly is invest wisely. So thank you for having me. My name is Charnella Clark. Like I said, I'm a financial coach, and I am a motivational speaker. And I would love for you guys to help me spread the word about financial responsibility. My book is called Help a Fool Spend His Money. And even if you don't believe that you could benefit from any of the information in my book, I'm sure you know someone who can. Maybe a family member, a friend, a child, anyone. So thanks again for having me.
Thank you.